Hi and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I may have bought a few books. As you probably have seen from the thumbnail and the title of this video, I decided to use all of my tax return on books in a variety of different formats. I mean, times purchased, all physical formats. I don't know why I said formats. Anyway, I thought about, because of how I had to purchase these books, which I'll describe in a moment, I thought about waiting until all of the packages arrived and then opening them. I have no self-control. I can't wait until all of these arrive. Several of them are actually going to arrive tomorrow, so I could have waited until tomorrow, but again, no self-control. I need a shirt that also says the pun of no shelf control either, because yeah, I bought a lot of books, but I didn't actually spend as much money as the number of books would lead you to believe, because, okay, so I want to cut in, and before I talk about all the books that I got with this tax return money, I want to make something very clear. I am in a financial position to be able to do this. I don't have dependents, I don't have debt, I don't have a lot of other expenses, so I'm able to spend the money on this. And I try to make really good choices with where I purchased them. I purchased them from library book sales, from thrift books, from places where I could get them for a lot cheaper, but also support like local businesses, like with the used bookstore and etc. So I am in a position that others aren't able to, and that's why I was able to get so many of these books. I used two different websites for purchasing the books, and there were deals on both of these websites that I made use of to maximize how many books I could get for the money that I spent. On Book Outlet, they run deals a lot of the times, but that particular day, they were running a deal that was, you get a free book for every 5 books that you purchased. And then on Thrift Books, I had some free book credits from the Reading Rewards, and also because I'm an educator, there's a certain number that you have to buy and then you can get a free book. So if I didn't have a free book reward, I used that one. It used to be on Thrift Books that you could apply those free book rewards to every purchase, like a single purchase, and it would just discount it. Something must have changed recently since the last time I ordered, and it was only one per purchase. So I just made several purchases to use all of my rewards. So most of my books, once I finish spending, because I'm going to try to also go to a library book sale tomorrow at the time of filming. If I end up going, I'll put some footage in there of that. But most of these books, see, I keep losing my train of thought. Oh, after I finish purchasing the books, I'm going to try to figure out an average total, because there were some that I bought that were new or like not discounted on either of these sites. I have the first of my packages and I'm just really excited. So I'm working on getting the books for my series and also just books that I'm interested in. I also brought scissors. I don't remember what's in each package, but oh wow, in this package there are, oh no, that's not the book I thought. Okay, in this package there are 6 books. So let's take a look at what we have. It looks like every single one of them is for a different series. That's hilarious. Okay, so this one is book 2 to a duology. This is Girl on a Wire. Interestingly enough, it's the Charleston County Library, and I got it on Thrift Books. I mean, I know there's several Charlestons, so it could have been Charleston, West Virginia or something, but it's really funny if someone sold it to Thrift Books and then it got sent to me here. So that finishes a series. This one, I believe, is the last book that I needed for the Maze Runner series. So this is the Fever Code. This is the prequel, I believe. And then the rest are just random assortments from various series. This is, I don't remember, I think it's called the Hard Pan series, and I don't remember what the name of the first book is, but this is Lucky for Good by Susan Petrone. And then I have Waste of Space, which I believe the series is called Space Case. And this was a book that was recommended to me by one of my middle school students several years ago. And then we have another Neal Shusterman book where I believe I've read the first two in this series. And, oh, it's a companion. Oh, well, that's, okay. So I can go ahead and read it without remembering. So the first one was the schwa was here, and schwa is that like upside down E for in pronunciation guides. And the last one, I've read 2 books in this 4-book series. I don't think any of them follow on directly. They're all companion stories in the Pacific theater of World War II. I have read House of the Red Fish and Hunt for the Bamboo Emperor, but I don't remember specifically. This one is Under the Blood Red Sun, and it is also a Scott Odell Award winner. So there we go. There are the first 6 books in the package in the order, giant order that I have. I have like 3 packages coming tomorrow. Okay, so I was gonna go to the library sale after our run, but then the library posted pictures, like preview pictures, and I spotted a book in one of the pictures. I spotted an edition of the Silmarillion. Yes, I am that much of a nerd. I want to make sure I get there right when it opens so I can get that edition because I want it. I really, really want it. And so I have with me my Strand tote bag, and I don't know how many I'm planning to get, but if I get that one book, it'll be a successful trip. So unfortunately, I think what happened is they used old photographs because the layout was not the same when we went in there. So the book that I was hoping to get wasn't there. Or maybe they shifted things around after the photograph and somebody else got the book. Either way, I'm leaving without that book. However, I am definitely not leaving empty-handed. I'll wait till after the run to go through the haul. Okay, so I am back from my run and the mail has been delivered. Told you, I got a lot of books, and that's not even everything. These are just thrift books. And for some reason they package them individually. So that'll be fun to open in just a moment. But before I do, I'm going to go over the books that I got at the haul because I have a bag full of library books. Well, books from the library book sale. So let's go over these. For some of them, they're completely new to me. They just sounded interesting. Some of them, I have some reasons for wanting them. Now, this book, I'm pretty sure, is the reason why I had the Beatles song, The Yellow Submarine, in my head. I'm not sure why my mind went to that because I don't listen to a lot of music. I don't listen to a lot of the Beatles, but we've got, it has nothing to do with the book either. This is a debut. It's a nonfiction. It's called The Yellow House, and it's talking about, it's a memoir, and it's set in New Orleans, and it talks about the different things that have happened in this then promising neighborhood. So if you think about The Color of Law and what that did in housing and things like that, I think this is like a memoir example of that. So I'm really excited about that. Next, I'm a little unsure because I haven't really ever read in this genre before, but I have a lot of respect for Stacey Abrams. I wanted to give it a shot, and I had the money to do so, and it was at a library sale, so I'm supporting my library. Next, we have The God of Small Things. This is the winner of the Booker Prize. I've had some success. I don't go out and necessarily always read all of the Booker Prizes or anything like that, but I've had success with the ones that I've added to my to-read list and have picked up. Do I know what it's about? No. This next one, I was really excited to see there. This is Deathless Divide. I didn't purchase it online because I hadn't read the others, and this is a lot thicker, but I have read now 2 Justina Ireland books, 5 stars for both of them. One of them is probably going to be on my top 10 of the year. And the first in this duology is on my May TBR, so I figured, hey, why don't I go ahead and pick it up? Next we have The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funke. I have heard of this before. I may have read it once upon a time, but I'm not sure. I absolutely adore the Inkheart trilogy and her Mirror World series, so I figured I'll pick this up. Next we have Dead Wake by Erik Larson. I have read Devil in the White City, and I think I've read In the Garden of Beasts as well, but I'm not sure if I have or not. But this is about the sinking of Lusitania, and this was only $3. I went ahead and I did this. I could have gotten it through Book of the Month, but I would have had to pay $4 more because this was $5. They didn't put the sticker on the front. This was $5. Lincoln Highway by Amor Towles. This was published last year, I believe. 2021. So fairly recently, and I got it for $5. Next we have My Own Words, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The texture on this book, I cannot convey how nice this feels. But I have this on my TBR anyway, and again, I highly respect Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Next we have an Alan Gratz book, 2 Degrees. I think this is one of his more recent ones. Yes, this is last year. This was published last year and I got it for $2. I do appreciate the way that he approaches storytelling. Then we have a Walter Isaacson book, a biography of Benjamin Franklin. I really like how Walter Isaacson approaches biographies. Walter Isaacson is the historian who wrote the biography of Hamilton that inspired the musical. Then we have White House Diary by Jimmy Carter. I have wanted to learn more about him, and it seemed fitting to pick this up, especially now that he is probably going to pass away fairly soon because he has entered hospice care. Then we have the only Jasper Fforde book that I haven't read, because this I think is one of his more recent releases. I love the Thursday Next series, and this one was published in 2018, so he doesn't publish a lot, but I do appreciate his sort of madcap humor. And then lastly, this was actually the first book that I picked up, but it is Light It Up by Kekla Magoon. She is the author of The Rock in the River and Fire in the Streets, which I read just recently, and I really, really enjoy her writing style. So that was my library haul. Let me count up my library book sale haul. Let me count up how many I got there. 13. I got 13 books for $35. Not too shabby. And now it's time for the thrift books haul. So I'm going to start with the only one that's in a package. Did I say the only one that's in a package? The only one that's not in the cardboard package, I should say. So I'll probably take some time to take the library packaging coating off of it. But this is Arusha and the City of Gold. I'm working on collecting the whole series. I know I already have a couple of them. I don't remember if I put them up here or not. I don't think I did. Okay, so there's book 1. Well, book 1 of haul 3. Next we have The Hand on the Wall, a truly devious novel. Yes, this is the end of the trilogy. There are 2 others in the series that are not part of the original trilogy, but I'm excited to get back to this. Feels like there might be more than 1 in here. Yes, there are 2 in here. Oh, yes. Okay. So we have, oh, I'm so excited. Okay. So we have The Lords of Night, Shadow Bruja novel that I read earlier this year. And we have Tristan Strong Keeps Punching, the conclusion to the Tristan Strong trilogy. I am so excited about this. I just really needed to buy it. I couldn't wait for the paperback. Yay! Next we have Key Player by Kelly Yang. I don't know what number this is. Okay, this is book 4. So there's Front Desk, 3 Keys, Room to Dream, and now Key Player. So this is book 4, and it's the most recent in this series. And it came out last year. Oh, so she had both this one and the one that I can't remember the title of that I read last year and absolutely loved. You'd think I'd be better at remembering titles, but no. Okay. Kingdom of Copper. I'm so excited. It's book 2. Yay! And it's nice and floppy. That one's getting read very soon. Ooh, nice. This is Supernova, and I don't know where in the series this falls, but this is part of the series collections that I'm trying to make. And last book for this portion of the haul. All right, working on yet another series, and we have The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. I believe this is yes, it is the 4th book in the Raven cycle. Let's see what comes next. Okay, so I am back with part 4 of this epic haul. Probably one of the biggest once I get everything all put together. I'm gradually accumulating stacks over here. And I decided that for the other half of my tax return, because I spent my federal tax return and now I'm spending my state tax return, I decided to go to a used bookstore. I had originally planned to go to the same one that I went to last year, August-ish time. But then, since I'm on spring break, my mom and I decided we would run together in the morning and then go out to this really cool crate place. And as we drove over there, I was just looking around and I saw a used bookstore as the page turns. And I'm going to insert clips next of going around to in this shop. And I think it used to be like a drugstore or something, but has now been converted into a bookstore. And it was really cool. And you know, used bookstores, I like them. They're not my favorite kind of bookstore just because they don't tend to separate as much by genres, and the displays aren't necessarily as visually appealing, which I totally understand. Also, used bookstores tend to be overpopulated with mass market paperbacks, and those aren't my deal. But I still end up finding lots of books. And so I thought, hey, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna get as many as I see that I want, because I'm gonna support this local bookstore as well. So I have 2 bags. I have a very large bag here and a smaller bag to fit the rest of them in. And I'm gonna cut away for just a moment to the B-roll in the store and then come right back and talk about all the books that I got.
I've been out of my head, can't get out of bed. Too much on my brain, but got it good, can't complain. It's like I'm losing my mind, and time's hard to find. What's a girl gotta do to catch a break up? When life tries to test me, I take it one day at a time. Yesterday, but look at me today. It has been so long since I wrote a sad song. Sunshine on my face, I'm feeling okay. Nothing's in my way. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I put a dress on today, I don't care what you say. And I'm ignoring my phone, so don't try to reach me.
All right, so I'm gonna start with the small bag first. These are in no particular order, except for these last 2, I believe I saw right, well, at least this one, I know I saw on a stand right by the door, and I have wanted to read the Tea Dragon Society books. And I don't think this is the first in the series, but I don't think you have to read. So revisit the enchanting world of Tea Dragon with an all-new companion story to the 2-time Eisner Award-winning graphic novel, The Tea Dragon Society. So again, it's a companion. I don't think you have to read the first one, but I've heard that these are adorable, so I definitely wanted to get that. Next, we have The Wish List by Ian Colfer, the author of the Artemis Fowl books, and I read this and it looked really interesting, so I'm intrigued. Next, we have Keeper of the Lost Cities Exile. This is book 2. I'm hoping that it's the same size as the others. Let me check real quick. Yes, it is. So this is one of the ones that I didn't have, and I did double check to make sure that I hadn't already purchased it, because yesterday I went through and I color coded my series list with all of the books that I got so I don't accidentally purchase doubles. Next we have, well, that one doesn't go together, but this is the other one that I got sitting on that stand there, same as the Tea Dragon Festival. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I love the texture on this, that there's no dust jacket, and I missed out on getting it in the adult Fairy Loot subscription, so I thought I'm gonna give it a chance. All right, next we have The Iron Trial by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. This, I believe, came out before some of the big series that they're known for more today, and the ones that I've read. I've never read anything by Holly Black outside of the Cruel Prince trilogy and, unfortunately, Book of Night. So I wanted to give this one a trial. A try, not trial. Next we have book 2 in the Young Elites series, and when I finished this series, even though I think I've read this one before, I don't remember a lot of details from this series, so I think I'm actually going to reread the earlier books in the series, hence why I purchased this one. Next we have Witchwood by Tahereh Mafi. This is her middle grade novel, and I really liked This Woven Kingdom, and since this is another fantasy novel of hers, I'm gonna give it a try. I figured I'd eventually get a hard copy of this one because I do have an audio copy that Mom has actually read before me, but I got spare. I'm really intrigued. Of course I'm intrigued. What else would I have got in the book? Anyway, next we have another hyped book that I do have an audio copy of on Scribd, but I've heard such really good things about this book that I want to have a hard copy of it, and that is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. And then next we have the other 2 books in the original Grisha trilogy. These are much bigger than the original one, and so by finishing off this series, I will finally have read all of the Grishaverse. Did I do it backwards? Kind of, yeah, but I'll finish off the series. Next we have a book where I had actually seen another book in this series at the library sale, but I didn't get it because it wasn't the first in the series, and that is the Gregor the Overlander series by Suzanne Collins of Hunger Games fame. She wrote this series before Hunger Games. Obviously, I want to give it a shot. Why do I keep saying the same things over and over again? I have no idea. Next, we have a couple books that are stretches, sort of. One, I've read other books by this author. I'm just not necessarily into vampires. And then the other one, I'm not necessarily sure if I'll like, but it's a stretch, so we'll see. We have The Mortal Rules by Julie Kagawa. It says it's the first in a new series, but I don't know if there are more in this series or not. The one that I'm not sure of and I think will stretch me out of my comfort zone is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I'm gonna give it a shot. Now I've heard, because this is his debut novel, I have heard that the books later in the series get even better, so I am gonna keep it in mind as I read this one. Next, we have another stretch that I've heard both good and sort of middling things about, but I wanna give it a try, and that is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. And because I really do think that mystery sort of stuff I would enjoy, because I read a lot of sort of campy mysteries when I was younger, like high school age, and sort of like transitioned out of those. So I want to give The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman a try. And last we have the biggest of the books that I hauled. So we shall see, but it's nice and floppy at least. And that is Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I'm gonna give this one a shot before the sequel. I was gonna set it on the top of my stack, but this is the biggest book. I'm not gonna put that on the top of the stack. So in this portion of the portion number 4, I got 17 books. Not too shabby. Definitely nowhere near the price of the library book sale, but I'm still pretty pleased about these books. You'll see me in just a few minutes whenever the mail gets delivered with the next portion of the online order. Okay, so I am back as I promised with a lot more books than I actually expected because my book outlet books came as well. And I think this is all that I bought from Book Outlet, but I don't even remember. I'm gonna have to figure that out. And if this is all my packages, I'll come back and do a wrap-up clip, but I don't think that it is. But I will insert a clip of what my front porch looked like when all of these were delivered. So cool. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. All right, so in here we have book 4, I believe, of the Fablehaven series. Next we have book 3, no, it's book 2 of the Fablehaven series. Yes, I did get the whole Fablehaven series. Next we have Stormrunner by J.C. Cervantes. This is one that is not adding to my TBR pile, or closet, basically. Next we have Firekeeper, also in that same series. And Genesis by Brandon Reichs. This is another series that I'm working on completing. Package number 2. So I sent a picture of that same picture to my mom and she's like, is it Christmas? Feels like it. Next we have Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor. I almost purchased this at the bookstore, but I checked my data and I didn't. Next we have Al Capone Throws Me a Curve. Most of my thrift books, whichever, are to help me complete series that I have started. So next we have Fablehaven book 3. So now I have unbagged books 2, 3, and 4. And we have Daughter of Smoke and Bone. This is going on the red shelf, but I wanted to have a copy of this. That is book 1 in the series. Oh, next we have Night of Cake and Puppets. My guess is that there was a dust jacket on here and it was sold without it. This is the novella that goes along with the series. For not having a dust jacket, it does come in pretty good condition. Ooh, next we have Wind Daughter. This actually is, I've already read this. I read this as an ARC. Oh, again. Well, that's interesting. They sent me another ARC copy. I didn't think you were supposed to sell ARCs. Anyway, I really liked it, and it's much less tightly bound than, what's the first one called? Echo North. So I have read that one. Next we have The Dream Thieves, which is book 2 of the Raven Cycle. Three Keys, which is book 2 or 3 of that series. And that's it for that package. Next package. I'm just glad they didn't individually package them this time. Next we have Girl in the Shadows, which is the second in the Cirque American duology. I read the first one a long time ago, so I'll probably have to reread it. Next we have Ice Like Fire. This is one where I double bought a book on the same day. One from Thrift Books and one from Book Outlet. So I probably am going to keep the Book Outlet copy and unhaul this one. But I did manage to get them for free. They were like the deals on both of them. And then we have Fablehaven book 4. The other one must have been book 5. So I think I now have the whole series with the exception of the first book in the series. Never mind. Here's book 1 in the series, Fablehaven. Again, I have read this one, so this will go on the red shelf. I just wanted to have the whole series. And last in this package, we have Room to Dream, which is the second to last, the third installment, I believe, in the Front Desk series, which means that other one was book 2. And next we have this massive package, which is the last of the thrift book packages. All right, I'll get these two out at the same time. We have Splintered and Spiked by John McGoran. I have a feeling this might be a series that has run its course for me, but I did enjoy the first book in this series when I read it originally. Next we have Front Desk by Kelly Yang. Again, I have read this one, but I'm just completing my collection of the series. We have a book without a dust. Oh my word. I thought that was decoration at first. No, it is drawn all over. I might purchase myself a different copy of this, but this is The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson. I believe this was supposed to be good condition, and I don't consider someone drawing all over the book and without a dust jacket good. This is acceptable. Next we have Patina, which is the last in the Track series that I need to get, aside from Track, which I've already read. Then we have Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. Then we have, I believe this is the conclusion, Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. A lot of thrift books are ex-library copies, and the last one in this package is Arch Enemies. And I believe this is, yes, this is book 2 in that series. All right, thus ends the thrift books portion of, I don't know, the 4th or 5th portion of this haul. And now begins the book outlet portion. I'm running out of space. Of course. Okay. Here we go. Ice Like Fire. So this is in much better condition than this one, so I will be unhauling that one. And then we have the 2nd and 3rd copies. Ooh, I like how this is bound. I didn't realize these were hardcover. So I have Escape from Aurora, which is book 2 in the Frostheart series, and Rise of the World Eaters, which is book 3 and the conclusion. And then we have River of Silver, which is Tales from Daevabad. So I'm excited to get to this after I've read the rest of the trilogy. And then I have, because I don't know why I want to torture myself, but I have read the first 2 books in this 14 book series, so I'm working on collecting the rest of them. And I have book 8, The Path of Daggers, and book 9, Winter's Heart, firmly in the slog section of the Wheel of Time. Okay, package number 1, done. Time for package number 2, which is sealed like that. Let's see if this pull tab works. No, it did not. Okay, I kind of hate the covers, but I did enjoy the first book. So I have book 3 in the Winner's trilogy, The Winner's Kiss, but that's a trend in YA, or at least it was. Now we have some new ones that I'm really excited about. Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. I'm finally going to give her a shot with something other than Sorcery of Thorns, or something Sorcery of Thorns related. We have The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichuk, which is a mythology retelling. We have Wings of Ebony by J.L. Promise Boys by Nick Brooks. Ashley from Bookish Drum really hyped this one up. And finally, because I want to give it a shot, we have Pride and Premeditation by Tirzah Price. This is sort of like a cozy mystery version of Pride and Prejudice. Box 2. Done. All right, again, really not all that well packaged. Let's see if this pull tab works. Doubt it, but ever the optimist. Again, nope. Technically, yes, I know. I have not actually started this series yet. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but again, my fantasy tastes tend to align with Jade from Jade Ray Reads, and she loved this series, so I'm gonna go ahead and get those. And these are actually books 4 and 5 in the series. We have The House of Always by Jen Lyons and Discord of Gods by Jen Lyons. Oh, yes, and also book 3. So the only one that I don't have is book 2. I need to fix that. So we have book 2, The Memory of Souls. So I have almost the entire series. And then, I never thought that I would go for this series, but I received another, like a spin-off book in a spin-off series, I should say, by this trio. And so I've gotten all of the Jane series by this trio. I don't know what order it goes in, but we have My Plain Jane, My Lady Jane, My Calamity Jane. I loved the way that they took on historical fiction and twisted it to be whatever they wanted. Box 3. Done, and now time for the final box. One last try for the pull tabs to redeem themselves. Oh, it was so close. Okay, so several of these are ones that I've heard about and wanted to give a try. One of these is just because, oh wow, this is a lot shorter than I thought, but it is the same version that I have, and this is some of the tales, other tales that J.R.R. Tolkien wrote. This is the Smith of Wootton Major and the Farmer Giles of Ham. It is tiny, but I want everything that man ever wrote because I love this series. So, let's see. Okay. Next, I was able to get one more book to get closer to finishing my collection of Keeper of the Lost Cities, and I got Lodestar. And then I got a pair of books that I think I saw Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin read and love, and I want to give a try. We have Ava Evergreen, the Semi-Magical Witch, and the sequel, Ava Evergreen and the Cursed Witch. Second to last, we have a graphic novel that I think came out last year and was on the Goodreads list and came highly recommended, or talked about I should say, and that is Crumbs. This is a fantasy, okay, in a very special town, there's an even more unusual bakery with the selection of baked treats handcrafted to help your dreams come true. So, I'm excited about that. A little bit of fantasy. And then the last one is from an author that I've read before and tried to get an arc of this book. Didn't get it, so I purchased the book. We have Forging Silver into Stars by Brigid Kemmerer. So there you go. That is today's fairly substantial haul. I am surrounded by books and a little bit of mess with the bags and boxes, but I love it. Okay, so I am back with the last update of this book haul. I believe that this is the last of the books to be delivered. I went through and checked all the orders. If it's not, it's going to be one or two other books, so they just won't get included in this haul, but that's okay. So, I once again have one of these. So here we go. I think there's 3 packages in here. Let's take a look and see what we have. Okay, we have Renegades. This is one that's not adding to my TBR because this is the first in the series. We have Arusha and the End of Time. I think with this I have all of them, and I think this is the first. Yes, this is the first in the series. I'll have to double check to see if I have all of them. Next we have Stolen Magic. This is the second in an older duology. I read the first one last year in an effort to clear off the books that I'd put on my to-read list in 2012. Next we have The Winter's Crime. That is hilarious. I know I paid a little bit more than $179 for it because it was on Thrift Books, but it's interesting that they have this price on here and yet they still charge more. Anyway, I don't like these covers, but it was a trend. And then the last in this package is The Midnight Star. This is the conclusion to the Young Elites trilogy, and the only one that I technically haven't read, but I am going to be reading the first 2 before I get to this because I don't remember much about this. Now for package number 2. We have House of the Red Fish. I can't remember whether this is one that I haven't. Yes, this is the other one of this quartet of companion novels that I haven't read. Then we have Al Capone Shines My Shoes. I think I might complete the collection for this series with this one. Then we have Space Case. Again, this is not adding to my TBR because this is the first in the series. And finally in package number 2 we have Spaced Out, which is book 2. I now have the whole trilogy. Alright, and the last package of this haul, I just realized the lighting's going to be different because I forgot to turn my other light on. Alright, next we have The Box in the Woods, which is, I believe, the companion sequel, not part of the original trilogy. Next we have Frost Like Night, which I think is the second or third. Well, I know it's either the second or third, but now I can't remember which is which. Next we have Arusha and the Tree of Wishes. That one is probably the one that completes my Arusha collection. And the last book in this haul is one that I don't have to add to my TBR. It is The Shadow Crosser by J.C. Cervantes. So there you go. I should total up how many books I got in this portion of my haul. Maybe I'll do that in post because I do not feel like counting them up at the moment. There you have it. There is my ginormous haul. I'm really excited to be able to move the books from off of my reading chair and onto the shelves. And I think what I'll do is once I get that all done, I will put in a little clip of everything on my new TBR shelves. A whole side of that closet over there that I'm looking at is going to be for those books. So as promised, here is the overall view of the TBR shelves. Yes, multiple ones. I'm thinking about turning the desk around so the shelf side of it is on this side, because that'll give a good place to have the TBR shelves as the background. But here is an overview. So we're going to start off with this shelf. So we have the only book from my comic subscription that is not over here on my TBR pile. It is organized. By the point you see this video, you will have seen my April TBR and you'll understand that. So that's one subscription. These two books are from my TBR Tailored Book Recommendations box. I just realized I need to move this book up here because it comes from that box. Huh? Then we had my one-off Abraxas. No, these are the only two Illumicrit that I have on the shelves because this goes into Fairy Loot back through there, and it ends with the YA Fairy Loot that's back in that corner. It's not good for displaying these corners, but it's okay. Then we get into my book of the month, and there is space because I plan on continuing this section, and these are in order that I have received them, but I have read several. Now, on this shelf, we have my Goldsboro subscription books up through here. This is the most recent one. Then we have my Coffee and Book Club books, which I don't get anymore. And that, I believe, goes, yeah, that's all I have here. And then lastly, we have the Owl Crate books. These I didn't get through subscriptions. That was just that one-off purchase. And these are my Blacklit box books. Now we're going to come to the other side. So on this side, we have the series that I want to start from here through here. Then yes, this is one of my BookBox books, but I had already chosen that book for one of my Buzzwordathon books. And this also is a Buzzwordathon. It's a BookBox book. It's a Illumicrate. That's why there's not as many on the other side. These are my Buzzwordathon books from here to here. Here we have my 23 and 23. There should be more left, but I have several of them on that pile over there. All right, now we get into what I just added for the most part. And with this shelf, we start with series that I have started, and I now have collected all of the books remaining in that series. And that goes all the way to that side, ending with Supernova. And then down here, it starts all the way back on that side, which you can't really see, comes over through here. And then once I get to about here, these two are series that I don't have the whole series yet. Then it starts new series where I have either the first book with these six total, or I have the whole series. This should be up here, so I'll move that up there in just a moment. Actually, that should be over here because I don't have the full series. Yes, doing some rearranging on camera. Okay, and then these are other series starters where I don't either have the first one or I don't have all of them. So we start on this side. These are my books in Spanish. Then these are all up until we get to here. These are books that I got last year at the really big book sale. Yes, do I need to read them? Then we have some of my new nonfiction, including one that I haven't hauled that I'm really excited about. There are a lot of female marathoners that have come out with books recently that I'm excited about all of them. Then we come down here. I have had these. Oh, I just realized this one also needs to go up with Tailored Book Recommendation because that's that one of those. And then this one I haven't hauled. This one actually, I had talked to a student about it. She was reading it and was like, I don't really like this. Hey, do you want it? I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. So I have that. And then these are all books that I got in that most recent haul. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.